It's crazy that men complaining about Leon being sexualized is so annoying, and as the female characters in game haven't been sexualized to hell since video game creation. I think that stance is like pretty wild to where like I don't where I think I can take this off my head. Oh god. But essentially like it's wild. Why does Rach feel that way? Like let's first see who are I view the quotes because they may have a better thing. Wait, hold on. What is this? Oh yeah, no, that's funny. Men complaining about Leon being sexual is so annoying. Before joining staff, after joining staff. Jill Valentine's new 3 remakes and its less appeal, more practicality. That's oh my god. What's the I feel like it is one thing to where people are like calling it out. People are calling out the hypocrisy, but sometimes in the worst of ways. I think just because like should women in gaming should fictional women characters be should female game characters be sexualized? Sure. Should video game men be sexualized? Sure. I think both have valid instances of like sexualized characters. Let me see if I can't write this out. Hold on. Let's see if I can't write this out. Hold on. Hold on. Why is this? Why is this even like a problem? Let's see. Sure. Do I like this way? Sure. Let's go with this. So let's see. Sexualized characters. Let's make a list. Men that I can think of, and women that I can think of. I can think of Ryu Hayabusa as a character. Hold on, let me do this right. Ryu Hayabusa is a character I can think of. What about Dante from Devil May Cry? I can think of Street Fighter characters. All the Street Fighter characters. I think maybe like fighting game characters in general, but specifically, oh yeah, Soul. Hold on, Maxi from Maxi. Soul Calibur. There's also Killick as well. Hold on. Ryu. Street Fighter. Ken. There's a Sagat. there's a lot of characters that are like men that are sexualized as it is. Like they're overly muscular, and that's what men want. It's a men's game. We want big burly men fighting and doing things. And it's crazy to see how like this person feels that way. What else I can think of? What is it? Lara Croft, Ivy, Soul Calibur. Oh yeah, Chun Li, Street Fighter, Cammy, Street Fighter, Mai Shiranai, King of Fighters, and Street Fighters. But like she was also a DLC character as well. What else I can think of? Ada, Resident Evil, Jill, Valentine, Resident Evil. Like I like the fact that I'm coming up with characters that are already considered to be sexualized is a whole thing though. Like it's crazy to where who I don't know who's complaining. Oh, actually, let's look at this case. Who's complaining about? Hold on. Who's complaining about these characters? For example, like just to name a handful. Who's complaining about female characters in game? Oh yeah, there's also Eve Stellar Blade. She's been extremely. Oh yeah, 2A. And then there's A9. Is A9 a character? Probably. That's probably true. But yeah, the list can go on to where you can like name sexualized characters. Characters in game. There's like JoJo, Bizarre, as a whole. Like there's just crazy amounts of men that are sexualized. I mean, the fact that you're adding Leon as a sexualized character is wild to me. There's just like I don't know where the argument is, because there's been men. Final Fantasy has Tifa and Cloud too. Cloud has been so sexualized that they even put him inside of a woman's dress, and he is questionably like beautiful as well. There's also Barrett, Sephiroth, two twinks fighting each other for the fate of the world. But that's wild. I just want to point this out, like just like the idea that that this whole thing, the sexualization of characters is being annoying. But I wonder if the bigger issue is that the primary the focus on making a sexualized Leon with his neck wrinkles is a problem. But I think what I'm concerned with is like, what's the whole thing with it though? I don't see any men complaining that Leon is sexualized. I mean, hell, nowadays, like even like it's essentially the same instance as if like you go to a gym and I see the guy next to me, him benching 500 pounds, 400 pounds. That's pretty cool. And there's also a community where they sexualize the shape and figures of like muscles in general and compliment them about it. Like it's wild. I feel like that was a case of that was a touristic standard. But also it's wild to see like there's a lot of like conflicting information like this, to where the gamer has two different articles to where Resident Evil no longer sexualizes its women and why that's a good thing, and I don't know why that's a good thing. But also the gamer says Leon has definitely still got it because it's something sexy about the way the ear is, or the hair on the face, or the way they look at you. I think there are women who are tired of being associated with like the associative standard of beauty, to where oftentimes these women who are complaining about women being sexualized don't have the confidence in their own figure to where they themselves don't see themselves matching with the current standards of beauty. Like, I can definitely see Shiva being both of them are sexualized. He has his shirt off, there's nipples, but at the same time it's funny to where the moment that women have their nipples shown, that turns into like a whole other problem. But like, it's crazy. This is the I don't know who's complain. I think the only complaint about Shiva's right here is that she's prettier than most people you come across, to where it's almost like that one girl in a coffee shop you'll never see again. Shiva's that one girl you'll never see again. But it's again two wild articles or threads. Requiem producer Kumazawa regards Leon's design, where Leon has a lot of fans. Are they fans of him because of how he was written, or are they a fan of him of the way he looks? Because you can write Leon Kennedy and make him the worst character, and ask the question: if his morale was flipped, would he have as many fans because of his looks or because of his character? But then over here, Jill Valentine's new Re3 remake design is less sexy and more practical. I mean, I might want to argue with that. Jill Valentine Re3. Like, who's... Hold on, let me see if let me get a good, decent picture. Again, this is funny. To where, who's arguing that this is not pretty, this is not pretty? Like, she has normal sized boobs. They were complaining that she didn't have a tube top. She didn't have a tube top in like a short skirt. This design people liked because of the short skirt and tube top. This puts her in a tank with pants. Oh wait, tank with pants or whatever, but like, again, who's arguing that she's not that pretty? Like, she has always been pretty attractive. But who's complaining that she's not attractive? Like, and if anything else, for her model to be like curved down to be that way, it may make more practical sense as a person who's moving left and right, like in an action scene. It's kind of like the way people were so upset about Tifa Lockhart in Final Fantasy VII, where in Final Fantasy VII Remake, there was an issue with her character because there was a section of people who were obsessed by her breast size shrinking, and people were upset with that. And the creative director believed, and the whoever designed it made a firm point to where, like, her boobs are big, but they're reasonably sized because she is a physical martial artist, and boobs will get in the way for most martial arts. To where, if you're punching like this and you have massive triple H's, I don't know if a triple H bra will get in the way of a punch, but a reasonably sized DE cup wouldn't. You know what I mean? Like, torpedo boobs might get in the way of practical martial arts, but in a video game that suspends belief, sure, maybe. You could have people like fighting the way they would in Queensblade, for example, and that'd be perfectly normal. Or DNF duels. or the way people fight in Marvel Rivals. There's a lot of video game characters that fight with reasonable belief, and I think it's funny to where we find these tourists in gaming that are claiming it's wrong to sexualize women, but it's correct to double down on men's sexuality, sexualizing men. Okay, let's skip that. No man is complaining about Leon being sexualized. They're complaining about the hypocrisy of people that sexualizes Leon, but complaining about women being sexualized. Yeah, it's really funny to where like it's like hold on, Dragon Quest remake censorship. Like it's crazy to where the censorship is vastly like apparent to where this was the original. Hold on, this is the model that we got. Hold on, let me see if I can't find this. These were the models that we got for. This was the remake of. The left is the remake of Dragon's Quest, and the right is the original drawing. This was the original. This is the original. This on the right, I think, was the remake drawing, and this is the original drawing. You get some side boob, and they censored that stuff. She is wearing a battle bikini, and her chest is bare, but for whatever reason, for the Western, in order to allow Western release, allegedly they were forced to put something underneath the boob plates, the breastplates, and the battle bikini. This may make some sense for some people, for practicality, but this remake doesn't respect the original design, in my opinion. This right here doesn't respect the original design of the cleric figure as well. Not only is the female warrior censored, but the censorship itself looks like trash. Who would put a sports bra and short underneath the bikini top? Yeah, that's actually a good question. In what reality would putting a bikini over a shirt be attractive? What would putting a bikini bottom over shorts be attractive? Like, it's weird. Wait. What's the problem with this one again? Oh, right, I see the censorship now. The censorship is like the whole Christianity thing, where this is the original concept of this is a church figure. This is a cleric character, and they somehow have to alter it to separate itself from Christianity. That's wild. Every time Christian iconography is censored, I always have this exact general question. They did this because they were afraid to offend Christians, or they did this because they hated Christianity. Well, that's not relevant to my decision. But that's wild, you know. It's wild to see censorship happen. It is one thing to call out censorship as a whole, but at the same time, you want to be more on point. Like this is inflammatory on both directions. But no one's complaining about Leon's sexuality. Yeah, that's my understanding. And from her retweets, let's see what her people quote, because again, it's agreed to where people are complaining about the hypocrisy to where it's fair to sexualize men, but you're looked down upon by sexualizing women, when that's been a whole thing for a long time. And the only other people who's been upset about a female character who's attractive are those who don't find themselves attractive. Like, I don't find myself attractive, but I can respect the attractiveness of most characters, of most male characters as well. But it's crazy, like, women who, like, I'm gonna say this as a thing to where women who feel like they're overweight will always hate others who are at the goal that they want to be in, or they have facial dysmorphia and they hate people who are perfectly accepting of their own facial like features. But again, like this whole thing is wild. I don't know. I'm just a tourist, but what do you guys think?